I'm preparing a very classic dish of Belgian cooking, rabbit with prunes. This is a comforting, rustic stew that has graced many Sunday dinner tables for generations. I start with a rabbit of at least 1.5 kilograms. I place a whole rabbit on my cutting board, the hind legs, the back, the shoulders, the head, and the liver. In the cavity I also found the kidneys. I'm removing those as I won't be using them, nor will I use the liver. Using my cleaver, I cut through the pre-scored back to separate the pieces. There is some belly meat attached to the back portion, which I trim away as well. I'm not going to throw that away, this will go into the stew. I'm seasoning the meat generously with salt and pepper. In a large pan, I melt some butter over medium heat. I want to give the rabbit pieces a beautiful golden brown crust. I'm not cooking the meat all the way through yet, I'm simply developing flavor. Since the whole rabbit won't fit in the pan at once, I'm searing it in 2 batches. Just be careful to not let the butter burn and feel free to refresh it if needed. Once the rabbit is beautifully seared, I deglaze the pan with a half bottle of table beer to loosen all those flavorful bits from the bottom of my pan. For those outside of Belgium, table beer is a low alcohol beer. It's a nostalgic flavor for many Belgians. In fact, up until the mid-20th century it was quite common to be served in schools or on the table, as it was considered a safer, more nutritious alternative to soda for children. Table beer adds a subtle, malty sweetness to the sauce. You can use many types of beer here, but avoid anything too bitter or hop-forward. A malt-forward beer works best. Table beer is sweeter than a regular ale. If you're using another type of beer, you can add a tablespoon of sugar or even better, some plum jam to match the sweetness. For the base of my sauce, I'm peeling and dicing 2 small onions. In my cast iron pot, I sauté the onions until they are soft and lightly caramelized. Just before they are done, I stir in a tablespoon of flour. This will act as a thickening agent, ensuring the sauce coats the meat perfectly later. I deglaze the pot with the remaining table beer. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Belgian classics and the stories behind them, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. It will help me tremendously in continuing to make these recipe videos. I return the rabbit to the pot along with the beer from my searing pan. I add a Bouquet Garni, sprigs of thyme, bay leaves and a little bit of parsley. I will let this simmer gently on low heat, stirring occasionally to ensure nothing sticks to the bottom. After the rabbit has simmered for 30 minutes, I add 200 grams of seedless prunes. I add them halfway through so they have time to soften and release their sugars into the sauce without completely disintegrating. I let everything simmer for another 30 minutes. I'm serving this with potato croquettes. I've already done a deep dive in how to make the perfect Belgian croquette, so if you haven't seen that yet, you can find a link in the video description. To cut through the richness of the stew, I'm preparing a simple mixed lettuce salad with a classic vinaigrette. In a bowl, I mix 1 part mustard with 1 part of tarragon vinegar and a touch of salt and pepper. While whisking constantly, I slowly add 2 parts of walnut oil. The mustard acts as an emulsifier, binding the oil and the vinegar into a smooth, stable dressing. The stew has been on the stove for an hour and is now ready. I taste for seasoning. The seasoning is good, but I'm adding a splash of apple cider vinegar to brighten and open up the sauce. Time to plate. A few pieces of a tender rabbit, a generous spoonful of a dark, glossy sauce with the prunes, the croquettes, and the fresh salad. This is Belgian comfort on a plate. Enjoy!